No God greater than you. No God stronger than you. God can do the things you do. Hello, good evening. How was your
Hello,
day?
good evening.
How was your day?
With
I'm fine, thank God.
Are we waiting for them or how?
We're going to go ahead. Let me just share the link to start.
Okay.
Mhm. How's been your week?
My week, well, it's have been snowy and cold.
Yes, the code just came out.
Uh, Stuck inside. And yours?
We thank God, quite hectic, but we can't complain. And the code just came without any announcement. We thought I was actually thinking that we have escaped the code for this year, and boom, boom, the code just came out with full force.
Yeah, that's how Istanbul is. No
Unpredictable.
announcements.
Yeah. You are holy. Okay, we have 6 people online already. So I think we can go ahead and get started with a
That's
recap.
fine.
Yeah, with a recap of what we did last week. You can just give us a breakdown.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. By the way, let me officially introduce him once again. He's my dear friend, Esim Pastor Steve Kucha, the pastor of NLA Church, Istanbul. So you're welcome to the live session. We appreciate your time. We don't take it for granted, sir.
Thank you.
Kindly say hi.
Okay, hello. All right. I can start.
Yes, sir. Can go ahead.
All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you once again for having me. So, like our pastor Miss said, we will be doing a recap and then we will be answering some of the questions that came in. And I'll try as much as I can to be fast with it because of time. And if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box and we will try as much as we can to answer the questions um, as we um, deem fit. All right. So last Thursday we looked at a few topics. We looked at the differences between work permit and residence permit. And I did say that residence permit gives you the opportunity to live legally in Turkey without police harassment, while work permit gives you the legal right to work. Now, if you have residence permits, it doesn't give you the legal right to work. You can be harassed by the police, and if you are caught working without a work permit, you can be fined or you can be deported. Now, before it was just a fine, but now it can actually lead to deportation. That's why people have to be careful. If you have a work permit, you have the rights to work, and it gives you a higher chance if you are applying for visas to other countries, especially to Europe and other places. And also, if you have a work permit and you are married here to another foreigner who is on a residence permit, because you are on a work permit, either the man or the woman, either of the two can swap their residence permit to family residence permit. And family residence permit is granted to the spouse for 1 year. So even though they're given 6 months now, if you have a spouse that has work permit and you apply, you will be given 1 year. If you have a work permit and your family is back home in Africa, you can invite them over through family visa and they can come and stay with you. Uh, like I said previously, that it is um, for spouse, like the wife of the man or the husband of the wife and the children. Um, if you go further to discuss about whether you can invite your mother, your brother, you have to prove that they are really your um, family member. And when they come, they are only coming to visit. So getting a residence permit for them might be challenging. All right. And then we talked about the issue of whether if you have work permit, can you still renew your residence permit? It was an advice, but I would like us to scrap that out of our mind right now since we're doing a recap so we don't confuse ourselves. If you have work permit, your work permit is as good as your residence permit. No problem about that. So don't worry about whether you want to renew or not. Let's swap that out. However, if you have a work permit, you are I'm trying to look for a better word. You are under your employer. You cannot apply for work permit by yourself. The person who employs you is the one that has the right to apply for you to the Ministry of Labor. And once it has been approved, automatically you are now under that person by law. Which means that you cannot just jump out and leave the job. My advice, you cannot just jump out and leave the job. You have to work with the person who gave you the work permit and be nice so that by the time there is a transition, it will be easier for you. Why? Because if that employer writes to the Ministry of Labor and says that you have been relieved of your job, that is an automatic cancellation of your work permit. Ministry of Labor is not going to ask why, explain. No, that's an automatic cancellation of your work permit. So the foreigner involved has a window of 10 days to apply for residence permit, swapping from work permit back to residence permit. You have the window of 10 days. If the 10 days elapses, you can never get permit again. It means that it has been cancelled. Thus, the need for communication between you and your employer. Then we talked about the long-term uh, residence permit, which is like a PR. It is given to citizens I mean, it's given to foreigners who have lived in the country for 8 years. So I would want to. That's basically all we talked about. I would like to um, go straight up to the questions that are here so I can answer them. Because when we start talking about long-term residence permits, there are other things I need to bring up on it. So it will take. So let me just start up with the one: can you change workplace with the same work permit? The answer is no. You cannot change from employer A to employer B. You cannot change it. If McDonald's is the one that employed you and gave you your work permit, you are stuck with McDonald's. If you want to move to Burger King, you have to take permission from McDonald's, and then McDonald's will transfer your work permit to Burger King. I'm using this expression so it can be easier to understand.
Yes, yes, sir.
If you are working for McDonald's, you are under McDonald's. You cannot work for somewhere else or another person. If you do that, that's violation of the law, and your employer has the right to cancel your work permit. Now, what happens if you want to leave the job? You don't like the job here, you have found another job, and you want to move to the other job. Number one, you must be sure that the other job that you have found, they are willing to give you work permit as well. Now,
Yeah.
if they are willing to give you a work permit, there's going to be a communication between both employers. Your former employer will transfer ownership of your work permit to the next one. Then the next one will now carry on from there. You cannot happy the way they are paying you here and then you just jump up and leave. If you do that, your employer your work permit, you
Wow.
become illegal.
Wow.
If you now move to another job thinking that maybe that person can now just go and apply, no, there has to be an information from McDonald's, the first employer, before you go to the second employer. So please, brethren, let's take very good note of this point. Once you are working under somebody, you are under that person, you cannot jump up and leave and go to another place. Once you do that, that's violation, and your work permit can be cancelled, and then you become illegal automatically. So what do? You resign. You do things normally. You resign. You discuss with your boss, and then you resign. After you've tendered your resignation letter and it has been accepted, you let them know that you have another job somewhere. Then they cannot transfer your work permit to the other person. Okay, so what about if you are resigning, you're not going to work any other place? Yes, you resign and then they accept your resignation and then they cancel your work permit. When they cancel your work permit, you have to apply for residence permit again. When you now get the residence permit, then you can now move to the other job. Okay, you can now move to the other job. So if you that's how it is. If you don't want the communication between both of them, then you have to do it this way for your own safety. For your own safety. Okay, I believe that part is understood.
Yes, sir. Is well understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I move on to the next one. What is the best option for foreigners between work permit and residence permit? Both are good. Both are good. Like I said, residence permit allows you to live in Turkey, move around, buy and sell, do whatever you want to do. Work permit allows you to work, and then you enter into the government system. You have your health insurance. You have your um, premium. There is something in eDevlet, they call it, where, like, for example, if you work in that place for a long time and then you retire, you can get some benefits, you know. So those are the things that are there. And however, it is not all the companies that wants to give work permits. So if you are fortunate to get a job that provides work permits, I would say you grab it. It would be good for you.
Okay.
The next one, what are the major ways to obtain citizenship? Like I said, through marriage, through property investments, and through the long term residence permits. Those are the major three ways that you can get um, Turkish citizenship: through marriage, property investment, or financial investment that is worth up to $500,000. And the last one is through your long term residence permit.
It's
The next question, with work permit, what is the minimum wage you should be earning? Yes. Now it depends on the um, the profession. If you work in a factory and they provide you with work permits, they will offer you the minimum wage in Turkey, which is like about 26,000, starting up from there. But if you work in a school, you're a teacher or something, you earn from 30, 35, thereabout. If you work in an office as what else can you work as now? Maybe an interpreter, a translator, or sales representative. You don't earn the minimum wage. You earn above the minimum wage. You earn above the minimum wage. However, some factories, when they employ some of our people, they give them the minimum wage, but that is not actually what you're supposed to earn.
um,
You're supposed to earn at least one, like from 30 and above. That's what you're supposed to earn. And you're not supposed to earn anything less than the minimum wage. If you are in a place, whether they give you work permit or not, and they're giving you something lesser than the minimum wage, I would suggest that you speak to your boss or you
mhm.
look for something else. No company right now employs anybody and pays them anything less than the minimum wage.
Okay.
So if you are in a place where they are giving you anything lesser than 20, what's minimum wage now? Is it 26 or
I think it's within that range. 22, 20.
so if they're giving anything less than that, then you should move to another job if you can find. Can student change from student permit to work permit? Yes, students can change from student permits to work permit. I have a member in my church who was on a student permit last year, and he got a job in a school, and he has transited to work permit um, right away. So yes, you can do it, but there's a lot of documentation that is involved, some documents and all, but you can do it once this company you are going to be working for is willing to give you the job. Yes, you can. So it's possible. But I don't think it will be possible for those who have not graduated yet. Like, um, if you are on masters, yes, it's easier. But if you are still undergraduate, it is not, because you have to graduate first. So, what's the duration of the long-term residence permit? Okay, let's go to the long-term residence permit now.
Sorry,
What?
if I may add ask some questions regarding the uh, sorry, the other question you answered regarding work permit, whether they can move
Yes,
whether they can move from one employer to the other. Yeah, you talked about
yes,
if, for example, McDonald gives you that he employs you and gave you work permit, you cannot leave that job to another company unless they are the
yes,
one that release you and said, okay, you can go ahead. I will no longer need your services. You can go and work for this person. So you said that there will be or there must be communication between the two companies. So you said
yes,
that there must be communication between the two companies because
yes,
the new company will have to take the responsibility of the tax payment and all. So
yes.
what if the your present employer is not willing to do that? for no just reason. Are
Well,
you?
Turkey is a free country. Nobody can hold you back. Once you say you don't want, you don't want.
Yeah, you don't want them. But what if he's not willing to give you the necessary documents or the necessary support for you to move to another company? So what do you do?
Well, I don't think that is possible. However, uh, you can uh, change to residence permits. You can
But
change to residence permits.
you know that the company supposed to give you a document for you to be able to change from work permit to resident permit, and he's not willing to do that. You know why I asked this question. I have a lot of people.
There's no company that will not be willing to do it. There's no, there's, this
Can we
doesn't,
can we live in Turkey together? For example,
huh?
now I know, yeah, we need. I know of a landlord. No, sir, it's a very serious matter. I'm asking you. I know of a landlord that has
Okay.
refused to give my will I say my friend now nufus. He refused to follow her to the notary to issue her nufus. So not
That's
just
different.
you
That's
can't.
different. This is about work. Like even this evening, I was still with someone who needed notarized contract, and they told her that sorry, the house owner is not here. The
Mm-hmm,
house owner refuses to come. So
mm-hmm,
if you really need the notarized contract, you have to change house. They
uh-huh.
made they made that little girl to cough out like 30 yeah, about $1,000 to transfer house, because if she doesn't transfer house to get notarized documents, she's going to lose her document.
So, sir, something similar.
You
And,
understand?
and the landlord doesn't have any reason. When I spoke to a lawyer friend of mine, he said that we can take the landlord to court. But who wants to do that? Who has time for all that?
Uh, That's
So,
the
so
thing.
something
That's
similar.
what I'm saying. That if the person refuses, if the employer refuses, you have to appeal. That's why it is important that anyone working with any Turkish company, please and please make sure that you do your best, be nice, and be on their good book. Be on their good book. That would be my advice. When I was working in a school and it was time for me to leave, I wanted to leave. I resigned. I wanted to leave. I wanted to create a scene because I just something just happened. I wasn't happy, but then I had to caution myself and just be smiling and be on their good book.
Yeah,
When he go to the rest, he asked me to go back and get the document. I had to go back, get the necessary document, and I left. So just be on their good book. That's all. It's not going to take anything from you. No gra gra, no fights.
right.
Just be on their good book. Once you're on their good book, you won't have any problem.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So I think we just say to that we are just going to advise that you pray and trust God that He's gonna perfect everything. So if the employer is not willing to give you the necessary documents or support for you to move or change jobs, you just have to take it to God in prayers and trust Him because with Him nothing is impossible. Okay. So in
Yeah.
regards to the second question, what is the best option for foreigners between work and the resident permit? Um, I think
Sorry.
the second question, the best option, which one should you is the best for a foreigner, work permit or resident permit? So work permit gives you
Bo-
flexibility. Resident permit gives you flexibility because you apply for it by yourself, and with it
Jenny,
you can start your own business. You can live in Turkey. You can
give me a
scout
minute.
for jobs. By the time you now get a job, you now get work permit. But if you start with work permit, you already like
Give me a
under
second.
the company that you're working for, the one that issued you the work permit, just like esteemed Pastor Steve has said. Then for resident permit, if you start with resident permit, for me, I think resident permit is a good place to start from because from there you can switch to work permit easily and it gives you flexibility. You own yourself, you can do your business, you can do a lot of things. Even the health insurance, you can have health insurance. The only thing is that you are going to be the one to pay the tax every month, unlike a work permit where the company that you're working for has to be the one to be paying for the monthly and other things. So I think that's what I want to add to that one. For me, all the things I know about these two, I think I prefer you start with the resident permit, then you can switch to work permit if the need be. Over to you, sir.
Okay, if I would add, if you say start with residence permit, are you talking about those who are coming for the first time?
Yes,
Yes,
those
if you're
those
coming for
are
the first time,
yes.
you cannot get a direct work permit. You will get residence permit first, and then you get work permits.
Yeah, but some people actually come in with work visa.
With
If
what?
they, with work visa. I mean, the company will be the
Ah,
one
yeah.
to.
If you came in with a work visa, yes. Yes,
Uh,
if you came in with a work visa, yes.
then that
But
means you
if
are
you
going
didn't come in with a work visa, then
yes. And if you come in with a work visa, you're gonna start with work permit because the company will now have to issue you work permit.
directly,
Yes. So
yes.
yes, sir. Okay.
It's a direct thing. But if you came in with other visas, then it's residence permit first before work permit.
Work permit. Okay. All right, sir. Long term permit
Okay, I think one more. Can you buy the property from outside the country?
country.
Are you
Yeah.
saying that can somebody outside the country buy um, property in here?
Okay, the question came in when you talked about citizenship by investment. So the person asked, because she is not in Turkey, so when can she buy the property out from outside the country? That means she doesn't live in Turkey, but she can buy the property, then come to apply for citizenship
She has to give somebody power of attorney.
to help her buy the property.
Yes,
Then
but
if she does,
most um, the advisable way is that you have to come in first because you have to see the property. You have to, you know, look at what you are giving your money for. You can't do it from outside. You have to see it first.
wait, that one is the person's preference. But we're talking about the law. Would the law allow you to apply for citizenship because you bought the required amount of property, but you don't live in the country?
No, you have to come in first.
You have to be here first, right?
Yeah.
Tony, you can hear that. I hope your question is answered. So to long-term permit now, sir.
Okay, so to long-term permits, this will be a very long one. So,
Okay.
number one, anybody who has lived in Turkey for 8 years qualifies for um, long-term residence permit. Okay, the first thing is that you must have lived in Turkey legally for 8 years. Number two, you must not have received any social assistance. You must not have received any social assistance from the government.
Okay.
Okay, you must not have received any social assistance from the government. Number three, you must have a source of income which is above the minimum wage. That is, in your application, you will send in your bank statement for the last 3 years. And
Mm,
in that last 3 years, especially the last year, there must be a source of income that is a little bit above the um, minimum wage.
okay.
And then you must have a valid health insurance. And most importantly, you must not pose any threat to the public order or the safety of the public.
Okay.
You must not pose any threats.
So sorry, when you say that the person must have health insurance, is it the normal health insurance that we get when we are applying for resident permit, or
No.
the one you have to pay every month?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the requirements. You must have been in the country for 8 years. You must not have received any social assistance from the government for the last 3 years. You must have sufficient amount of money in your account and health insurance, and then you must not pose any threat to the government, I mean to the society. Now, what are the documents that you would need? What are the documents? Number one, the application form. Number two, um, your Kimlik. Number three, your passport. Number four, your address document, which is your NOFUS.
Mm-hmm.
Number five, health insurance. Number six, if you are on a work permit, then your social security documents, the payment of tax, and then in the immigration office in Fati, there's a document you will get from them. The document is called a proof, a document showing that you have not stayed outside of the country
Okay.
for more than 6 months. Okay, you have not stayed outside of the country more than 6 months. You get that document. They call it gunluk say. Like there's a name in Turkish. They call it like gunluk sayse. It
Okay.
will tell you the number of days you have stayed outside of the country each year. Within that 8 years, the number of days you stayed outside of the country each year. And I must be quick to say that in 1 year, you must not stay outside of the country for more than 180 days.
That's 3 months.
Okay. Yes, if you stay outside of the country more than that, you can't qualify even if you apply. Then a criminal record which you can get from the court or from your e-devlet, you can download it, and then the UETS, the National Electronic Notification System
Mm-hmm.
that you get from PTT.
Okay.
And if you are going to bring a criminal record from your country, it must be stamped by the Foreign Affairs and translated
Yeah.
and then authenticated by the embassy.
Okay.
So uh, now for the fees of this application, I did mention some amount last time, but I would like to use this opportunity to correct it. Now, the fee is why it got to that amount. I told you I was hearing on social media is because the lawyer put in their personal charges.
Okay.
The lawyers, yes, they put in their personal charges. But however, if you apply, it's advisable to apply through a lawyer for this. It's advisable to apply through a lawyer, not just any agency that says they do this. It's advisable to apply through a lawyer. But however, if you want to apply through any other agency, the charges will not be up to that. The charges will be way lesser, probably like a $500 or $600 stuff. You can be able to get it. Okay,
Okay, like
that is when
five
they put
hundred,
their own
like five hundred
charges.
dollar or $600.
Yes, like when the agency you're going through putting their own charges, I'm sure with their charges and everything, it's not going to be more than $500 or $600. But if you go through a lawyer, it will be more expensive because the lawyer will put their own charges. And I guess the video was that I talked about was through a lawyer. That's why it was that expensive. So, what are the rights that you get when you have the long-term residence permit? You can study, you can live in Turkey as long as you want, you can invest, you can do business, you can go to anywhere in Turkey. What you cannot do is that you cannot do military service, you cannot vote, you cannot be employed in any government offices, you cannot import vehicles. Okay, you cannot import vehicles like you want to sell or something. You can't do that. Uh, that's the thing that you cannot do if you have the long-term residence permit. And the long-term residence permit allows you to um, It is infinitive, okay? It is surresis, like there is no expiring date to the long-term residence permit, but every 5 years, I was told by a lawyer this evening, every 5 years, the government requires that you change the card. Changing the card, you only just pay a small amount of money on tax. That's what you do. That's what the government just imposed. But you are not like you renewing it, or you are not like it has expired. It's long term. It doesn't expire. Now, can your long term residence permit be cancelled? It can be cancelled if you stay out of the country for more than
1 year.
1 year. If you stay out of the country for more than 1 year, your permit can be cancelled automatically.
Yeah, the
So
long.
you must make sure that you don't stay out of the country for more than 1 year. You travel, you can come back, but make sure that you don't stay longer than a year, except for medical reasons, um, except for governmental obligation or something. There has to be a major reason why you have to stay out of the country for 1 year, and you must be able to prove it.
Yeah. Then
So,
let me add something, sir. For the duration of the long term permit, just like you said, is like indefinite. They When you talk about renewing, it's just like for you to pay for the card or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And again, for the Turkish citizens, I also learned that they actually do not renew. It's indefinite, just like the long term resident permit that you
Okay,
said. Yeah.
let me show you. Let me show you. Just hold on.
Okay, sir. Please, as you come in, like and subscribe if you have not done so, and please share the live video. Thank you so much. You can also drop your questions on the comment section, so he can take the questions before we run.
Okay, this is my this is my daughter's card. Okay, this is my daughter's Turkish citizen's card. Right here, you can see 2029.
Mm.
Can you see it? I
Okay,
don't
that's
know
when
if
it.
it
Okay,
is.
that's when it will expire.
Yes, that's when this card will no longer be valid. It's like they put a chip here, right? So it's no longer going to be valid. So we have to go back to Nofos to get a new card. So when we get a new card, we pay a tax fee like maybe 90 TL. The last one, when we did this one, we paid like 90 TL. I don't know how much it is now.
Okay.
So that's it. It's not like it is expiring or something. It's not
Okay,
expiring.
sir. So
But this card,
you only renewing the card.
yes, you're just renewing the card. That's all. It's like your passport. You have passport for 5 years, you have passport for
Yeah.
10 years. After that time, you just change it. It doesn't
And that's
mean
what I
that you are
wanted
no
you to
longer.
clarify. It's not like you're renewing it like we that have a short-term resident permit. They
Yes.
are just renewing the card, just like you have to renew your passport. You renewing your
Yes.
passport doesn't mean that your eligibility to be a Nigerian or the country that you are from is questioned. It's just for you to renew that document. I
Hmm.
hope that has been answered because there has been a lot of because they said that you can't renew long-term resident permit just the same way that you can't renew citizenship. I said no, you are gonna renew, pay for the card, just
Just
the
the card. Just the
yeah, the
card.
doc. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Hmm. Just the card. So that's it. So any question about the long term permits? Any question? Because I think I've said everything that I needed to say.
Yes.
It
So
takes when you apply for long-term residence permit, it takes approximately 5 to 6 months for the process for you to get a reply, whether it's approved or not. It takes 5 to 6 months. So, which means that don't wait until when your short term is expiring and then you now apply, and then if it expires you are waiting. No, keep your residence permit active. If you apply for long term, make sure that until you get a reply from the government, keep your residence permit active.
Okay. So let me add something to that, because I know a lot of people are very much interested. Even me, I'm very much interested in that. If you, for you to also be to have an edge to get approval, you must have a source of income, a sustainable source of income, to prove that you
Yes.
can take care of yourself, maybe through business or through job. So if you're applying for long-term resident permit, what is your source of income? How can you prove that? And also, you have mentioned it, criminal record. You will not have to pose any threats to to the public. Even I think they said you will not have any health. How did they put it? You will not have any health issue or challenge that will be a threat to the public. I don't know, that somebody said something like that. So I was not like,
Yeah, like AIDS, AIDS or any terminal disease, that it will not turn out to become a burden on the Turkish government now to be looking after you. Like even if you have diabetes or something,
uh,
that kind of terminal health challenge, because they might ask for your health report too. So if you
so
have
that
any
so is that not like discriminating against somebody that has okay, that diabetes yet, or which other terminal ailment are we looking at now?
AIDS, for example, AIDS,
AIDS,
that's a big problem.
The person is already in the hospital. Okay, are you saying HIV?
But then the government will say if they allow you to now stay now, you'll be spreading it in the country. So that's a big
Are you
problem.
serious? Are they not discriminating against people for
No,
because?
it's not discrimination. No. It's just precaution, if you ask me.
But the person has, if the person has been living in the country, it's just because the person wants to apply for long term, then you are telling the person you can't stay because you have terminal ailments. We don't want you to not depend on the government. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's them looking out for their people. But I think it's like in this, discriminating against someone, of against the person for what the person has no control over. People don't, yeah,
Control
people
over,
don't,
yeah.
they don't choose to be sick, you know.
Yeah.
All right, sir. So we can go on.
Okay. So somebody's asking a question. What duration does the long term?
We have
It doesn't
answered.
have duration.
We have
It's
answered that.
indefinite.
Yeah, it's indefinite. He has answered that. It's indefinite. You just have to renew your card, just like you renew your country document, like your passport.
Hmm. Yeah. The important thing that we must note if we want to apply or take advantage to apply for long term, for those of us who are still counting our 8 years,
Mm,
make sure you don't commit a crime.
okay.
Make sure you have a bank statement and there is an inflow,
Of money.
yeah, of money there. And make sure that you don't have any issues with any Turkish person or something that it will not lead to maybe they writing a report or something, because wherever your name pops up, it becomes a problem. So just make sure of
Wow.
that. Now, for a student who have studied in Turkey, maybe for 4 years, and then you move to residence permit. After you move to residence permit, then you had a work permit and you have stayed on that work permit for some time, and now 8 years is completed. Do you qualify to apply for long term? Yes, but this is how they count it. If you are a student for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
they are not going to count that 4 years as four
All right.
years. They're going to count it as 2 years.
Okay.
Okay, so for a student, so for someone who came in here to study and you started as a student, note that you are not applying for long-term residence permit on the 8th year. You are applying on the 10th year.
Mm-hmm. You apply on
Yeah.
the 10th year. Okay.
Yes, on the 10th year, not on the 8th year.
Okay.
Because that 4 years that you studied, they slash it by two. So they count it as two, not as four.
Okay. That's well
Yes.
noted. Then there's another question from the comment on the in the comment section. It says, "Sir, please, if I want to stay legally with my own business, which card should I go for? And how can I open a shop legally also? For now, I am working with a work permit." I think we have answered that question during the
We
previous.
answered this one last week. We
Yeah.
answered it last week. You are working with a work permit. You can open a business. Okay, you can open a business, but you must continue with your work. How do you go about opening a business? First, what business is it? Are you going to open? What business is it? If we may ask, so I can know how to advise. Or let's say you want to open a salon or what? Restaurant or African shop. What?
I
If you
think a
want
salon.
to
I think a salon.
salon.
Yes.
Okay, so if you want to open a salon, it is quite tricky because you would need a certificate for you to get what is called what's that document now? There's a document you get from the ministry that gives you the right to own a shop as a hairstylist.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to any Turkish um, barber shop or hairdressing salon, you will see something on the um, wall. The picture of the owner is there and it is written something there. That is a certificate that qualifies you. It's like you went to school and then they gave you a certificate. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So every shop has that thing. I can't remember the name in Turkish because I didn't think this question would come up, but there's a document. Now they don't give to foreigners. You would need to partner with a Turkish person or rent it from a Turkish person.
Okay.
After you have done that, then you find the shop, you equip the shop, and then you hire an accountant who would help you do all the registration and then begin to follow up with your details, accounting details on um, what's it called, on the government system, and then you pay the accountant a certain amount, agreeable amount between you every month. Okay, so that's it. If you want to
Okay.
open a shop, the first thing you need to do is to find a shop, know what you want to open, get an accountant, and then they will take it up from there. It's very easy.
Yeah.
And even if you have a residence permit, you can own the shop. Even if you have a residence permit, you can own a shop, no problem. But however, at a particular time, they will need you to get a work
A
permit for
work permit.
yourself.
So for you now that have a work permit already, it's just you to have understanding with your employer. And like he said already, if you
Yes.
open the shop while you're working for the person that gave you or issued you that work permit, you cannot be the one to be at the shop because you have to be at your workplace because you have work permit by that company. So if you want to eventually get your own, let's assume now, okay, she has understanding with the employer who is willing to let her go and run her business. Can she use the same work permit issued by that company, or when she now get to her own shop, she will need to get a new work permit?
When the time comes, she'll get a new permit. She'll get a new permit. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work
It
that way.
doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Because if she wants to use that one, then the employer, that means the employer who gave her work permit is now a partner
In the business.
in the business. That's what it means.
Oh, so that means you
Yes.
have to. So how is
And
the safest way to play it now? Sir, please, sorry, sir.
the
The
safest
name-
way to play it is to decide if you want to stay on the work permit or not, or you open the shop and put somebody there to be running it. But note that it's anybody you put there running the business on your behalf is it's there are some risk involved when the governments start coming in. And most time when they come in, they will ask who is the owner because they will need you to, especially when it is newly located in a particular place. The citizens around there, neighbors around there will be wondering what's this place and all. And they
Okay.
usually send officers to
Okay,
go
sir.
and check.
So let me ask
So
you now. Okay, this Farida that is asking this question is working with somebody right now who issued her a work permit. So now she wants to
mm,
leave that place and start her own. Will she terminate the current work permit first?
yeah,
So if
that's
she
what
terminates
it
the
means.
current work permit now, I think the best thing for her to do is to apply for resident permit. Then when she
Yeah,
open her shop, she will now apply for work permit, right?
yes,
Because she cannot change from that work permit to another work permit when she has not established her company.
yes.
Okay. I hope your question has been answered, Farida. If not, please drop your next question or follow-up question in the comment section. Thank you so much. And then, sir, please quickly let's talk about the citizenship because we understand that. Okay, if I can, I'll just allow you to give us the conditions for citizenship. How do you acquire citizenship?
I said through marriage, you marry a Turkish person.
Uh-huh.
If you're a woman, you marry a Turkish man, then after 1 year, you apply for your citizenship. If you're a man, you marry a Turkish woman. After 3 years, you apply for your citizenship.
Okay. So
Yeah, that's it. And then the process can take 6 months to 1 year. That's how it is. Then, if you have a property, the moment you get the property, then you apply for citizenship for it takes another 6 months.
okay.
Takes another 6 months.
So the two ways now you have stated two ways by investment, by marriage, which other ways?
Yes. Then if you have the long term, if you have, sorry for the background noise, if you have if you have the long term residence permits,
Mm,
okay, after 5 years of using it, you can apply for citizenship.
okay, that's the third way. Uh,
Yeah.
Marriage, investment, if you have long term permit. Another one is
Yeah.
I think if you have work permit for 5 years,
Yeah. If you have work permit too for 5 years, then you can apply for citizenship. But
citizenship.
that one through work permits, well, it's possible, but it's it's a bit challenging anyway. But it's okay. Anybody
Oh,
can
okay,
try.
so okay, please can you throw more light? People are interested, are really interested in that because a lot of them have work permit now. So they are think they're asking, okay, if it's 5 years, is there no other requirement? If they've completed a 5 years of work of living in Turkey with work permit, what is next to do?
Is to get a lawyer and then apply for your citizenship.
So when you say that is the way you put it, like maybe is difficult. Why did you say that?
Well, because knowing the country for, you know, I mean, who they are, through work permit, they can be very selective
Oh,
in in the kind of people that they give that. Because if it is that easy,
yeah.
a lot of it just stay 5 years, work for 5 years with work permit. We have people who have worked for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? But some of them, after 5 years, the company start giving them problem because they
Yeah.
might be getting a signal. You understand? They might be getting a signal that,
Wow.
if you don't terminate this thing now, this person can use it to remember the law, something like
Ah.
that. I'm just speculating. I'm just
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
speculating
yeah. I
because
understand. I understand.
I've seen someone, a Ghanaian, who stayed in a company, a school for 5 years. At the fifth year that he actually qualified now to apply, the school that loved him so much just started misbehaving. You know, he had to go back and come back. And that going and coming broke that 5 years. So he couldn't apply. And then, that they can give that to maybe like other Muslim nations, but not really like our people. So that's how it is. But through marriage, property, there is no problem with that.
And you can also be, if you are born to at least one Turkish parent, you become a citizen. And again, somebody
Yeah.
said, if you live in Turkey for 5 years with a resident permit, I was not like, is that possible?
No, 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 no.
If you live in Turkey, just living in Turkey with a resident permit for 5 years, I think that is for a long term, and it's 8 years.
No. 8 years, 8 years, 8 years.
Yes. Okay. Then there's special merit and achievement, just like the one that you gave, the example that you gave the first time, the during the part one. He said that your friend you met at the airport, right? That the president just took a liking
Ah, okay.
for him. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
That one is one in a million.
One in a million, right? So
Yeah.
how do you apply for Turkey citizenship? Just the same normal way for your
Yes,
resident
yes, yeah,
permit.
yes. Through marriage, through marriage. Through marriage, through property,
So
you're
yeah,
good
how
to
do you
go.
apply? You can use a lawyer or you can apply by yourself.
Yes, you use a lawyer. Use a lawyer. Use a
Also,
lawyer.
I think for you to become a citizen, you need to know the language. You need to speak the language.
It's a plus. It's not a must.
Okay, it's just a plus.
Yes, because if you go for the interview before the board, because there is a board that you go for your final interview, there are about 6 to 7 of them there. They will ask you questions, and it's all going to be in Turkish, and you cannot be saying you don't understand what. No, you
Yes.
have to understand all what they're saying. And of course, if you have lived in a country for up to 8 years or for that long and you don't understand the language, that's weird. Even for the Turkish
Can
people
you
themselves, they get
can you
angry
talk
at
to me?
it.
Can you talk to me direct? Don't pass through the corners. Talk to me direct. What does that mean? What does that
It
mean?
means that you need to set time aside to be learning Turkish. You can do it online. You can do it,
I
just
feel
find some
I feel
time to.
attacked.
I,
I feel
I
attacked.
strongly
I know. I'm at it.
yeah.
I'll work on that. You know why I asked that question? Because I have a friend of mine who is a citizen by investment. He's still learning how to speak Turkish. But when you talk about them going, I think it's like you said, it's a plus. If you know how to speak the language, it also gives you an edge, advantage for the approval. So if there's no other question, I would like to release. I know that you say you have somewhere to be. Um,
Yeah.
let's take
I
the
have
final
another
question.
meeting.
So sorry, sir. Let's take the final question. Farida also asks, and how can I get a new work permit if I'm working for myself? Once
You apply for it. You apply for it.
okay, you just apply for it. It's just the normal way that you apply for your resident permit. So we can allow him to go. Thank you so much, sir,
Yeah.
joining us. Really appreciate your time. God
You're
bless you.
welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. God bless you. So I want to thank you so much for joining the live feed. If you still have your question, you can drop that, and I will try to do justice to it. I hope you are able to get value out of this live. This is the part two of it. The first part was last week, Thursday. So, do you have any question? You can drop your question. If you don't have your question, I'll just try to run down to what we discussed, right? That you can. Thank you so much, Ma. We love you. I love you too. Thank you so much for joining. God bless you. And I hope that your questions have been answered. But if you still have any question, you can drop in the comment section. And if you are just joining us, well, we are going to upload this live. It's gonna be available for you to go through it again and then drop your question in the comment section at any time. All right. So for me, if you ask me, like I said before, resident permit gives you flexibility. That means you be a woman or a man of your own, and you can start establish your own business. right? By the time you now establish your own company or business, you can apply for work permit, which the government even encourages now. But if you came in with work visa and the company that you're working for issued you a work permit, that means you're starting out with a work permit. You will not be able to have resident permit unless your contract is terminated by the company, and they did that in goodwill. That means you people are in a understanding with each other. So they are the one letting you go. So that means they will give you a document with which you can go and apply for your resident permit within a space of 10 days. You must do that. If not, you are going to become illegal. You will lose your legal status. Okay. Um if you also, when you have a work permit and you want to start your own business, you want to leave the company where you're working that issued you the work permit, it's advisable for you to first of all switch to residence permit, then open your business. By the time you open your business, you can now apply for work permit. Because if you use the same work permit from that company and go and start your business, it's just like your that company is in partner with you. That means you are entering into business partnership. So legally they can fight you. They can fight the ownership of that your company with you. So it's better for you to switch to resident permit, then open your business or your company before you can apply for work permit. And work permit also gives you opportunity to apply for citizenship after 5 years of working with the company or of holding a work permit. You can apply for citizenship. Yes, it gives you that opportunity, and you have health insurance. Health insurance is for you to be able to receive medical attention for free. That means your company, the company that you work for, they will be the one to, pay for your health insurance dues monthly. Your monthly health insurance dues, they pay for that. And with a work permit, also you can apply for visa. When you apply for visa to travel abroad outside Turkey, it gives you an edge, it gives you advantage for approval. Okay, unlike when you have resident permit. But if you have resident permit and you have a business, you have a company, you can have all these things. The only difference is that when you have health insurance, you'll be the one to pay the monthly dues, not any company or any other person. You'll be the one to pay monthly dues. And if you have a company and you apply for visa, I think you also have an edge because you have a company and you're paying tax to the government. You understand? The only thing is that having that resident permit makes you to be a boss of your own. But if you have work permit, your company owns you. The company that you're working for, they own you. So you must be at peace with them. If you're not at peace with them and they decide to cancel your work permit, you will lose your legal status. So you apply wisdom when your workplace or your company or your employer has issued you a work permit. You have to apply wisdom. You must be in good terms with them. It's very important to understand that. Then, if it comes to longer term permit, residence permit, you see that is indefinite. You don't need to renew it, just like a Turkish citizen. You don't need to renew it, but you only renew the card, the document. Just like me, I'm from Nigeria. I have to renew my passport every some stipulated years. I have to renew my passport. That is the same way you renew your permanent resident permit card, the document. Okay. And when you have a long-term permit, if you travel abroad, that means if you go outside Turkey, travel outside Turkey, and you spend more than 1 year, your long-term resident permit will be cancelled. Okay, how did you even get it in the first place? You have to be in the country for 8 years without having to spend more than 3 months outside the country at a stretch. So you see, it's very important to them that if you say you want to become their citizen, So why would you want to? What would make you to go and spend over 1 year outside the country? You understand? Except for maybe medical reasons or something tangible. There's a reason why you are going. You have to spend over a year in outside the country. Then for citizenship, we have different ways. We've already said that you can become a citizen by investment, through marriage, or through work um, permits. That's you have worked in Turkey for like five. I lived in Turkey for like 5 years. You qualify. Then special merits. Maybe there's something that you have done and you have been your work, your contribution has been recognized. You can be issued a citizenship status. You will gain that. Okay. And if you are born to at least one Turkish parent, and I'm talking about employment, you are working in Turkey for 5 years with a work permit. Naturalization by living in Turkey for 8 years with a permanent or long-term resident permit, you can become a citizen. Then special merit and achievement. You can, if you are recognized for special merit or outstanding achievement, you can become a citizen. How do you apply? You have to be at least 18 years of age. You have lived in Turkey for at least 8 years with a resident or a permanent resident permit. You have to know Turkish language. How do you want to become a citizen, become a Turkish citizen without knowing how to speak the language? You have to speak the language. No, it's an advantage. Okay. Then you have enough funds to support yourself in Turkey. So maintaining your bank account is very important. If you desire to be in this country, even to come on to renew your resident permit, they are asking you for bank statement. So it's very, very important you open a bank account and maintain it. Make sure that you use it to do your daily financial transactions and other things. And I will advise you as a foreigner to pay your house rent, pay your utility bills through your bank app. It helps you to build good image. And also, you will not need receipt from your landlord. He cannot say that you are owing him or maybe you don't pay. Some Turkish government landlord normally use that against foreigners. If they want to throw you out of the house, they will say that you don't pay your rent. So, but if you are paying your rent through your bank app or through your bank, you will have it on record that you pay your rent, and the landlord cannot come and say, put that kind of lie against you. And also, it helps you to build your bank statement. So learn how to pay for your electric, for your gas, for your water bill, even your internet bill through your bank app. It will help you. So when you are applying for your normal short-term resident permit or long-term, or for your citizenship, all these things count. And if you have money, you have a business, make sure that there is inflow. Use your account for your business. And if you are working, or they are supposed to be paying your salary into your account, so that shows that there is inflow of money that you can sustain yourself during your period of stay in Turkey. So it helps you to have good image for resident permit, whether it's long term or short term, and for your citizenship applications. Okay, have a clear criminal record. Make sure that you do not have any criminal record. Okay, and you will not say that you are a good person, you don't do this, you don't do that. Who have you given your e-devlet password to? Who has access to your e-devlet? Don't say that this person is helping you to apply for your resident permit or renewal, and then you give out your e-devlet password. That is very unwise of you. I've had people from church that they had to invite to police station to come and clear their names because somebody used their e-devlet to register a number that they used for fraud, and this person is not even this sister is not even aware of anything. So I asked her, I said, who did you give your EW password to. She said she can't remember, she doesn't know. But let me tell you something. This last resident permit that I renewed, the day I went there for submission, I needed to print something. They say UETS or something like that. I was supposed to print it. I don't know how I forgot. So when I got into submit, they asked for that. So I came outside to look for a place to print it. There is one business center where they do photocopy and printing work. I went there, and the man said he can help me to print it. So I had to give him my EW password. I wasn't supposed to give him. I had already logged into my phone and screenshotted the UETS form. When I sent it to him, to his WhatsApp for him to print it, and he printed it, he wasn't having the necessary information like my nufus, my address registration. It wasn't there. So we needed to, log into my eDevlet through his laptop. So when we did that, I wasn't comfortable because of the experience and the stories I've heard. I wasn't comfortable. By the time he was done doing that, because I had to send him my password to his WhatsApp for him to copy it and put on the website. I was gonna tell him to delete it, but he clicked send. I didn't know where he sent it to. He sent it to someone. I wasn't comfortable at all. I didn't even want to argue with him. So what did I do? Right there, the moment he was done, I logged on to my eDeblet and I changed my password. Even his body language and everything to tell you that he knew that it was very wrong. So when you are doing all these things, be careful. No matter who the person is, this person has been the one applying for my resident permit. Once you are done, change your password. It's important so that you not have criminal record against your name that you are not aware of. These things are important. Maybe you will not even have the opportunity for them to invite you to the police station, because this said sister, they invited her to the police station and she went with her boss, who said her boss followed her because the boss is a Turkish man. He was able to give a give a helping hand to defend her and say that this person doesn't know anything about this. Her name was cleared, but you might not have that opportunity. What if then you are traveling and you get to the airport, they say you have committed so and so crime that you're not even aware of? It's very important as a foreigner. Don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted. Your eDevlet has all your information. It has it. I'm lucky to have a man I work with for resident permits who is a very honest man. He's the one that told me that even him, that I shouldn't trust him with my eDevlet password, because the eDevlet has everything about you. That's where all the numbers that are registered under your name is there. So the next live session we're gonna be having is to show you how to navigate your eDevlet, how to take advantage of your eDevlet to make your life, or you living in Turkey, easy. From there, it will show you how you're going to check and see all the numbers that have been registered against your name. Because what they do is to register numbers against people's names, and they use it to commit fraud. And because that number has been registered against your name, you are the one that the government will know. So it's important. Don't take it lightly. It's very important. Okay. Um. There's a question from Farida. Ma, please, how can I see my eDevlet account? Okay. You have to log on to eDevlet website, or you download the app. The app is easier. Download the app. Then you register with your Kimlik or work permit number. But if it's your first time, you will have to go to PTT to get a password. They will give you password. You pay them a token. You use that password to log in. Then you change your password. From there, you can see all the information about you. Even from your eDevlet, you can book a doctor's appointment. You can do a lot of things. eDevlet is something that I think our next live session we're gonna do well on that, because foreigners need to know. They need to understand. They need to know about eDevlet, because it makes your life easy. If there's any criminal record against you, you can find it there. If there's anything, everything about you see it there. So I think that will be our next live session, and we'll announce the dates. So it's important. Don't play with or joke with your e-devil password. Don't joke with it. For those that will say that when you ask them, because this age sister now, she doesn't know. But like gave you my experience when I went to submit for my renewal. That's it could happen like that because nobody can have access to your e-devlet except you give them your password, and they can do a lot of things against you through it. So please don't joke with it. Next time, our next live session, I will announce that to us. Maybe next week or in 2 weeks' time. I will let you know. Thank you so much because it's already 1 hour 30 minutes. We don't want it to exceed 1 hour 30 minutes. If you have any question, you can send me a DM or chat me on WhatsApp. God bless you for joining. It was quite fun to be with you. I will see you again next time. Please make sure to share the live transmission so that a lot of people can benefit from this. God bless you. I love you. Bye.